morning. How are you guys doing? I hope you had an awesome night. Did you? All right. Well, if you didn't, don't worry. Stay close to us. We're going to make sure that your day is kicked off on the right note. Let's see what's happening over in the news desk, and then we'll...
Good morning. Time now for the news with me, Timothy Polio. A local chartered accountant admits that while St. Lucia does not have control over certain external factors which can affect its economy, a scourge destabilizing the nation is not beyond the control of the society. As a result, Mr. Richard Pidekin has warned that if left unchecked, crime will affect tourism arrivals. Tourism is the mainstay of the local economy.
We can't blame the rest of the world for that. You can blame America for sending all these guns down here, but it's our people that are committing the crime, not Iranians, not Israelis. And until we can get that under control and diminished, it's going to be one of our biggest problems, because it could affect tourism, which, as you heard Minister Hilaire at the Jimmy Awards, he said it's the heartbeat, it's the life of St. Lucia.
Violence in the Caribbean, a public health crisis, is the theme of a major conference to be held here later this month. The 68th annual CAFA Health Research Conference comes against the background of rising crime in the region and the elusive search for answers to combat the problem. The forum also is seen as an opportunity to build capacity among health professionals.
St. Lucia is privileged to collaborate with the Caribbean Public Health Agency to host the 68th Annual Health Research Conference under the theme Violence in the Caribbean, a Public Health Crisis. This conference will be held from Thursday the 25th of April to Saturday the 27th of April at the Royalton. This is the largest health research conference in the English-speaking Caribbean.
Finally from us this morning, the first deputy political leader of the opposition United Workers' Party has expressed his concerns about the recent unavailability of packaging boxes for banana exports. He believes that this has put the struggling banana industry in jeopardy.
What is the role of the Ministry of Agriculture in this process? Their role ought to be forward planning and projection. Where are the extension officers, the field officers? You mean nobody has an idea of the level of production of bananas, the amount of acres of plantain we have in St. Lucia, how many people are exporting? You know, some of the exporters today, they are losing their markets because there is competition out there. So if I have to supply a container of plantain and bananas and yams and dashing, and I cannot supply it, and other people have been knocking on the doors of these companies to say, I can supply you from other countries, and you don't meet your quota, what do you think is going to happen?
The Agriculture Minister has come under heavy criticism from Joseph.
You cannot be so incompetent that you cannot even average and estimate. And the government is finding $15 million to spend in jazz. They found $80 million to repair playing facilities for World Cup. You could not find $1 million to buy the boxes for the banana farmers and pay Winera for it, and so that they could produce it. And when the farmers come and collect the boxes, they'll pay for it and you'll get the refund. Is that rocket science?
And that's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching. It's a very safe and enjoyable Thursday. Join us at noon for our next News Major, the Lunchtime Report. I'm Timothy Polio. Good morning.
Thank you, Timothy. We need to take a short break and we come right back. First feature, it is Youth Month, and we thought it would be really vital to, highlight some of our brilliant, youths among us. There's quite a lot. We couldn't highlight all of them, but those that we could have catch a hold of, it was an honor. Here is Allens. Allens is doing a wonderful job. He's over at the university. He's just been appointed. He's just been awarded an appointment. So let's listen to Allens. Guys, we are here with it is Youth Month, and obviously, what a better thing to do if we really want to play our part in ensuring that the month is recognized by finding some amazing and outstanding youths amongst us and highlighting their progress to date. One such who's caught my attention from quite some time now is that young man, Allens. Allens is a brilliant young man who continues to shine, who continues to excel, who continues to just show brilliance, exude brilliance. And I think it's quite fitting that we are able to have Allens. Allens had to join us via Zoom because he's not even on island. He's off in university right now. But we are definitely grateful that through technology, we're able to link up with Allens. Allens, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with you. I know that you've said we've shared quite a history of knowing each other,
Right.
and I appreciate that very much. I also appreciate your complimentary and congratulatory messages from back home. If it's one thing I strive to do is make everybody back home as proud as possible wherever I go, because I really love my country, and I really love all the time to hear my country's name, and as us as St. Lucians, young St. Lucians, carrying our country's name high.
Certainly. Now, there's so much that we could add on, but we have 5 minutes set. So I wanted to tap into, just briefly run through your journey to date. And of course, you've now been appointed. You now have a wonderful appointment at your university. And it speaks more volume again to the nature and the person, and the journey you intend to, the path you intend to take. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this.
Well, where I started, it really started from the St. Lucia National. Well, my school students' council. I was elected the vice president of my school students' council. But then I thought that was not enough. I thought that I wanted my impact to be greater, and I thought that I had much to offer to the country. And I went on to serve as the public relations officer on the St. Lucia National Students' Council. And my main aim then was to broaden the image of the St. Lucia National Students' Council and to let people know that there is actually this negotiating or governing body for students across the country. So I tried to take my role very seriously as PRO, and I think that everything grew then. I later joined the National Youth Parliament. I went on to represent at different regional organizations, committees at the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports as well. And I just think that I continued to blossom from there. It was all rooted in student governance, etc. I went on to do parliament at the Commonwealth level in Trinidad and Tobago some years ago. And it just continued growing from there. And I always appreciated all my work has been tied either to advocacy or activism, particularly because I think that, my dream job is to become an attorney. Most people, they've already dubbed me with being a politician. Maybe one day that might be in the works, but to just be an attorney at law to represent people, especially those who can't even afford the basic, who can't get the basic amenities to afford an attorney at law. So I've always had this great joy for helping people and speaking on people's behalf. When I came to the University of the West Indies Cable campus, I contested the elections for the Guild. The Guild of Students is similar to a Students' Council. It's a very important arm of the university. I think if the university does not have a guild, then there's actually no university at all, because it's a very important part of the guild, of the university in advocating for students and student activism, etc., keeping university life and student life and morale up to par. So I stay on the Saki Front Hall in Barbados, and I think it was really the confidence of my other colleagues on Hall. They pushed me and they saw my potential, and they said, to contest a position for Hall chairperson. So I did. Currently, I am the hall chairperson-elect for Mr. Keith Hall. My tenure really starts on June 1st, but I'm just getting the ropes in of learning the job now.
Oh my goodness, Lord! I don't even know what you just talk about there, but you would know. And the techie people, the academia will know what you're talking about. But like you
Yes,
said, how does that fit into what it is that you want to do, or the passion that drives you in terms of advocacy and stuff like that? How do you intend to use that position, that chair, to elevate that?
Well, it's just a continuation of what I would have started before in advocacy in St. Lucia. It's just that it's now transcended the borders of my home. So it's no longer in St. Lucia, it's in another country now, and for a whole different set of people, new people. These are people that one day I might be working with in the future in the region and for our international students as well. For me, is just the love and passion for advocating on behalf of people and standing up for what is right for young people. And yeah, I just think that one day it would be essential, not just for me. I don't look at it generally for me all the time and my path, but just making where I stay better, making St. Lucia better, making the region better, and maybe one by extension the world. Because I think that most times in what we do can have far-reaching touching to many people across the globe. So I think it's just is symmetrically aligned with my path of wanting to become an attorney, but in just generally making St. Lucia, the Caribbean, a better place.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations once more, young man. And you already know how I feel about you and your passion and how you've been doing. So congratulations. And in closing, it is Youth Month. And you're just a youth that is out there just championing cause. So again, if you want to throw out something there for our youths during Youth Month, what would you say?
Well, in my caption, when I shared with social media of my appointment, I wrote a piece saying that I dedicated the academic year to not just the people on my hall, as we call ourselves, the hunters, but to every St. Lucian who will come to study at the University of the West Indies Cable campus in the upcoming academic year, and by extension, the other universities around the world. I want to invite other young people to participate in extracurricular activities like this and any other extra co-curricular activities at your school. For me, it has seriously helped me today. Look at where it has brought me. You doing public speaking, etc. has helped with my effective speaking skills. So I just think that getting yourself involved in extra and co-curricular activities and volunteerism really nurtures you and puts you on a path for networking and for building your image. I think something which is very important for young people now. I know it's Youth Month, and one thing I really want to reach out to people back home, well, young people back home about is our approach to conflict resolution as well. As of late, a lot of young people have been really involved in criminal activity, etc. So I'm asking you to, rethink and to find a motivation elsewhere. I know sometimes it's hard, particularly because where I came from as well, I came from a community that's not the best or has been cladded otherwise, but I really think what people think about it, what people think about Cicero is not what it is, especially as coming from there. I'm proud of where I come from because Julian and Fred is from there as well. Right. So just like Julian, just like myself, and just like other young people, I want you have to tap into yourself to get that self-motivation. And we are there, we who have walked those paths as well and paid our dues. We are always there to help and motivate you as much as possible. So just an invitation for young people to participate in extracurricular and co-curricular and volunteerism, because it really builds important for character development. And let's put down the guns and rethink, etc., how we resolve our conflicts, especially back home.
Wonderful. Alan's well said, well done. And we continue to wish you all the very best. We look forward to a lot more great things coming from you. Thank you again. And all the best. And it is also Poetry Month, the month of April. Yes, so certainly our next two features, we caught up with two wonderful writers on the island of St. Lucia. Honored to have spoken to George Goddard and another writer.
Well, we are. The month is the month of April, and it is Poetry Month. Of course, St. Lucia is a wealth of poets and writers, and you know, our name is out there on the world stage. You know, you can't take that away from us, to the likes of the Derricks and the Nepals and so many other wonderful and prolific writers. And we have the honor of standing rather with another one of our very amazing writers. Is a gentleman, when you read through his material, you don't just get excited about some good piece of writing, but you're so educated. You know, he picks the interest, he picks the minds. You know, and if you're really interested in learning, this is an author. You know, you should really do read his publications and pieces. Mr. George Goddard, I am honored.
Yeah, I'm honored to be with you this morning.
Wonderful.
And of course, to share some of my thoughts with you.
Absolutely. Now, let's wire back down, because a lot of probably young people, or even St. Lucians, you know, they normally say, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. So a lot of the times we don't, you know, it's not something that is really, you know, part of us as a nature, you know, but certainly for the benefit of other persons, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself and the nature of your writing.
Okay. Essentially, I have been an industrial relations practitioner, a trade unionist. I have been trained. I did an MBA in general management with Cable Campus University of the West Indies. But my first calling has always been writing, and I've been writing virtually from the age of 11. Of course, I would say that this is, if you're talking about 11 years old, you're talking about childhood. But since that time, I have been writing, and this has always been my first love. Poetry, in particular. I write reviews as well. I dabbled a little in short story writing, but I tended to stick mostly to the poetry. Of course, I've done some professional writing as well.
Yes. Wonderful. Now, you've done quite a few publications, including a compilation of poetry. That was the last project, I believe, that we saw from you. And it's my understanding that you have something in the pipeline to look forward to again soon. But let's wire back down to your very first poetry piece. It was written in Creole, you know, and you know, it touched on certain things. Tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, my first piece was not written in Creole.
Was it?
No.
So which one that was published?
But there was this piece called Figuette.
That is the one I'm talking about.
Which was written sometime perhaps in my early 20s. This is when I wrote this poem, and it seemed to have gone down very well because it virtually mirrored the life of our people, especially in the heyday of bananas, when banana was king. And so that was my first piece in Creole. But my writing, I actually have written mostly in English, but my Creole writing at the time, because there were not many people writing in Creole, I think that caught the literary air, and perhaps that is why a lot of people would probably zero in on this.
One.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I connected with, and I guess a lot of other persons as well. Fast forward to the compilation. Tell us a little bit about the latest compilation.
Okay, my latest compilation. In 2016, I did a compilation, a collection called Interstice. More recently, I have been working, in fact, it is at the printers right now, called Let the Flute Lead Your Spirit. This is a collaboration with Alwyn St. Omer, close friend of mine, and it is based on his Moon Dancer series, the Masquerade series. It's a Masquerade series, the Masquerade tradition of St. Lucia. So it is a collection around this theme. And in fact, I have with me the manuscript here, and yes, and so I am hoping that within the next few weeks we will be seeing this book, Let the Flute Lead Your Spirit, and in Creole, Quitte Flute la mene l'esprit.
Oh my.
I'm
I'm going to have a hard time trying with this one here.
Yes, because it also has some Creole pieces in it, and I could not have put together such a compilation if I did not include include a couple of pieces in Creole, because our traditions, masquerade connected traditions, etc., have very, very strong Creole roots. Now, you will recall that for a little while now, going back a couple of years, and this poem was actually written in 2019, December 2019, that there had been a big furore over what was going on at Kazamba, outside of Cap Estate there in the north, where one of the sites where our Kalinago people lived, and what was being done with that site, how it was being disposed of in the name of investment. And so this particular poem, Lines at Kazamba, deals with this. And if I may just read.
Yes, please.
Lines at Kazamba. Do it in this clear-eyed light. Now that you know that your back's against imponderable walls. Do it in the day-breaking light of these times, because you can no longer retreat on the rocks. Do it where the water washes the shore that assuages your feet, where the sacred offerings of ancestors lie, and the ground exudes this ethos, who we are, whom they have denied that we be. Just do it and reclaim the space, or else the night falls unapologetically. The haze, so mystifyingly comforting now, becomes a shroud, a nightmare impossible to run from because your limbs turn to stone, as in a child's bad dream, an inundating fear of unexplainable motionlessness.
Another amazing feature during the month of April, it's World Poetry Month, isn't it?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm here with Jean Medrick.
Yes.
In the writing world, she's Virginia Archer. So I'm not sure, do I say Jean or do I say Virginia? We'll be talking about writing. So Virginia, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Wonderful. Well, it's good to see, a younger person, certainly in the field of writing, because, we have quite a mandate to keep on the world stage when it comes to writing.
To writing.
St. Lucia.
Yes.
So I was a little worried whether or not we had continuity. So to see you as a young person in the field is refreshing.
Well, I'm thank you for referring to me as young. I'm
You're
not
young,
that
man.
young,
You're
but
young, no matter what
and
it
it's
is.
nice to know that there are also some other new younger poets than I am, and quite a number of female poets out there that are coming up.
Wonderful.
So,
Tell
yeah.
me a little bit about yourself and how did you get into writing and the nature of your writing. What sort of
Yeah.
writing do you do?
I have loved writing ever since I was a young child. I started writing poetry seriously probably when I was about 16. Most of my stuff is what I would call bad love breakup poetry.
In colloquial term, is the Gopal stuff.
Oh yeah.
This is
but
nice.
I also write a lot of nature, a lots of family stuff. So mine is more kind of home, family, nature, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It is something you gravitated towards, or when you discovered your love for writing, it just flowed, or you deliberately used this as a means of expression for maybe things you were going through at the time?
Yeah, I think as definitely as a means of expression. I mean, I think as poets, we are sometimes our own therapists. We use it a lot as it can be cathartic to write on something that's bothering you or something that's bringing you joy. Or
Are you a
know.
reserved person? Would you consider yourself a reserved person?
I would. I would consider myself
this really
a fairly
is your way out.
Well, I think that's why I write under a pseudonym and not my own name.
Gosh, listen.
It's kind of been like, I wouldn't say like a protection, but it allows you to then express yourself maybe in ways that you wouldn't, because you have that anonymity, right?
Right.
So you can just express yourself. So maybe that's a thing for the poets.
And we just put you on blast now.
Yeah, you put me on blast.
You now,
you've
innit?
exposed me,
Ouch.
yeah.
That's all right. We'll find a way to make sure that that anonymity remains. How much that's your very own publication? Is that your
Yes.
first? How many publications do you have to date?
I have to date 4, and that's the 4th, and I've actually just published a 5th, self-published a 5th volume, which is on its way to me. So
Right. What is it like being a writer, but also being able to do your own publication? What is kind of the support? I mean, we are now talking, we are celebrating it's poetry, and we've got a lot of writers here. But how easy or difficult it is publishing your stuff or getting your stuff out there?
It's fairly easy, I would say, to publish. I'm self-publish. You can do it online. I mean, there's lots of links now. Amazon. Wow. You can do it through. I personally use a company called Lulu. There's another company called Book Baby. So there's lots of ones where you can go to and self-publish. Anybody can self-publish a book. I mean, selling it is maybe a whole nother thing. I basically I do it for my own personal satisfaction more than I do for anything else. But I also take part in a lot of different competitions, and my work is out there in other formats. In terms of, I've been published in other magazines and online stuff as well. So.
I know you take it's for your personal gratification and your own your own relief.
Yeah.
But when someone picks up a publication of yours and they read through it, what would you like to be the take home? What would you like to be the impact?
I think the impact is how it affects you personally. I mean, every piece I write is basically from my own perspective, I guess. But I hope that when somebody reads something of mine, it invokes in them maybe a memory, or they can connect with something that I've written. That's I felt that too. I've done that too. So, yeah.
Oh, that is amazing stuff.
Yeah.
What's next?
Just keep on writing. There's a lot of writers forums that I take part in. There's one that I do online, and we have a local group of poets that meet once a month. And we share and we do critiques of each other's work, and so we help each other. So it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, when you guys meet in that little group, do you discuss normally the role that you as the next generation of writers that you have? Does it feel a little heavy sometimes that you have to carry on that mandate?
Yeah, I mean, we have that mandate. I mean, Derek Walcott set the bar really high for us.
Certainly.
I mean, fortunately, we still have a lot of living Derek contemporaries, with Kendall Hippolyte and Jane King and John Robert Lee, and so we can get a lot, still, value and their mentorship, which is amazing. I mean, I noticed even up to recently, you had MacDonald Dixon and Kendall Hippolyte and Jane King helping Sir Arthur Lewis with the kids with their poetry as well. So yeah, the legacy continues.
You're part of that legacy. Well,
hopefully.
We thank you, and we look forward to a lot more of those. In the meantime, like you said, where can we find your publication? Are they digital? Are they hard copies?
You can get hard copies. You can buy them on Amazon. I am on Amazon, on Lulu. And there are some hard copies with 758 Books in the Clary. So people can find my publications, or you can just reach out to me.
When are we going?
Since I'm not anonymous anymore, right?
Certainly. But now, when we go into Amazon, do we look up for Virginia Archer?
Virginia Archer.
Okay, it's on the Virginia Archer.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing with us, and we wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Well, that's our show for today. Go on out and be great. As always, I encourage you to do just that. Have an awesome day. And let's do it again tomorrow, right here. We wake up in each other's company on the DBS This Morning Show.